organization in Illinois, running at about 76%. Pat Buchanan running above 22%. That still means that 1 out of 5 Republicans voting the primary voted against President Bush, but it's a lower showing than Buchanan would have liked in Illinois. Now, Bill Clinton took his double victory tonight with smiles and confetti, and as a further sign that he now has bragging rights to #1 for the Democratic nomination. The Arkansas governor joins us now live from Chicago. Governor, good evening. Congratulations to you on the double win.
Thank you, Dan.
Question. Many Democrats continue to say, well, Bill Clinton wins in the primaries and takes some of the caucuses, but I just don't think he's electable. That something else is going to drop. What else is going to drop on you?
I don't know. I've been in politics a long time. I've been in a lot of heated campaigns. I've been subject to all kinds of scrutiny. I feel good about where we are. The test of electability is elections. The Time magazine poll this week has us even with the president, running better than other Democrats. I tried to appeal always to people who were for change, even independents and Republicans, just as I have at home. And I think that if I can stay on this crusade for change, to go beyond where both parties have been in Washington, to invest in our country, organize to compete and win, offer more opportunity, demand more responsibility, and bridge the racial gaps in the country that have killed us for too long, I think we can win this race.
Governor, you told former Governor Jerry Brown on Sunday night to leave your wife out of the debate. But isn't the potential conflict of interest between her law firm and the state of Arkansas a legitimate question? And aren't you going to face that time after time?
I think that is a legitimate question, but what Governor Brown said was just not true. He waved around the Washington Post article and alleged that the Post accused me of funneling business to her firm, which was just outright false. The article didn't say anything about that. Now, it is a legitimate line of inquiry whether there ever has been any actual or apparent conflict of interest. My wife has not received funds directly or indirectly from her partnership, from business her firm has done for the state, much of it for decades and decades. She has bent over backwards to do work for the state free without taking any money. And most of her time has been divided between public and private service. So I think when the record is out there, the people will feel good about it. I don't mind the issue being raised, but for him to launch an attack on her that was outright false was way out of line.
Governor, we have only a few seconds left, but about half of your own voters in Illinois say they have reservations about you and your electability. How can you address that?
By meeting the true test of electability, winning elections. We got 68% in Texas last week, a hotly contested race, 52% in Florida, one big here tonight. After all, Dan, these people have just met me, and they've heard the worst about me while hearing the best, too. I think when they get to know me and internalize all these things, as the people have in my home state, where I've been running and subject to these kinds of personal attacks for years, I think they'll answer this question: will Bill Clinton be the best president? If they answer it yes, I'll be elected. They ought to make this election about them and their problems and their future, and I'll be perfectly happy with the outcome.
Governor Clinton, winner in both Michigan and Illinois, thanks for being with us live from Chicago. Not a great night by anybody's standards for former United States Senator Paul Tsongas of Massachusetts and his economic message in the economically hurting Midwest. The former senator is with us tonight, live from Connecticut. Connecticut, a primary battleground to come, and close to his own home turf. Senator, thank you for being with us tonight. After last week's blowout, you can only describe it that way, on Super Tuesday, you said, and I quote you here, on to neutral territory. You came to neutral territory, you lost 2. Isn't it time to throw in the towel?
Well, I give Bill Clinton credit. We went into 2 states that are very large, and he certainly had the advantage in terms of the organization of the Democratic establishment in Illinois and the unions in Michigan. So, you know, I tip my hat off to him. He did quite well. Now we come to Connecticut, a state where the economic and financial advantages will be less important because I'm not a stranger here. And I can define myself and not be defined by somebody else. But, you know, I've been in this business a long time. Someone does well, you simply stop and give them credit.
Senator, realistically, do you think you have a chance still to get the nomination, or is it a case of trying to get your message out and make a point?
Well, I mean, Dan, if you remember when I got into this race, I was so dismissed. No one thought that I would still be around now. So whatever obstacles I may face tonight are really minor compared to what was presumed to be the case a year ago. The fact is that to the extent we can compete in smaller states, if you go back and look at the various primaries, once we are outside of our both home turfs, I've won until tonight 6 out of 8 of those contests. Where I have trouble are on the large states where the media markets are so huge that you need enormous financial resources. That's not going to be true here in Connecticut, and we'll see what happens on Tuesday.
I was smiling, Senator, because I was one of those, I'll say it, I didn't think you'd get this far, and you have, and that's the reason I was smiling there. But very quickly, in the seconds that we have left, Newsweek magazine said you were doing very well when you stuck with your message. You started losing it when you started going negative against Governor Clinton. Do you agree?
Well, we got back onto the message this week, and despite being out-organized and outspent, I think we did reasonably well. To the extent, I think the point was well taken that during Super Tuesday we were off our message. We got back on that this week, and we'll continue on that. I think the point, as you said, is well taken.
Thank you, Senator Tsongas. We'll see you along the trail.
Okay.
Jerry Brown's outsider message enabled him to parlay assembly line cutbacks and rising auto worker anger into a second-place showing in Michigan tonight, but still several links back from Bill Clinton's taillights. The former governor of California joins us live tonight from Madison, Wisconsin. Governor, thanks for being with us. You say that Bill Clinton, and I use your words, is the same old politician with the same hacks and hustlers out of the East Coast. Aren't you just the same old Jerry Brown, changing your message as you flit about from state to state and playing a little spoiler?
Let's not call it flitting about. I'm working pretty hard moving from state to state, and I've got the best labor record of all the candidates and the best environmental record and the best tax plan. So there's something there. It's solid. And most importantly, I'm calling upon grassroots regular Americans to support a very fundamental challenge to the governing elite of this country. It's much more fundamental, even drastic, than the other two candidates. So it's very important. It's authentic. It's an alternative, and I'm very happy that the people in Michigan gave such a boost, because when we started the week, we were at 8 points. By the time we finished, we were at 30. And every day I was there, we surged forward in the face of a barrage of negative ads from Mr. Clinton and just the resistance of the media. Here, your Time magazine, just this week, almost acted like it wasn't in the race. So I'm not complaining about that, because we're getting a lot of attention now, and that gives me the chance to give the American people the choice that I think they deserve.
Governor, you've raised the question of what you call Clinton's electability, but what about your own? Some of the Clinton people and many Republicans say, listen, Jerry Brown's in the presidential race only because he took polls, saw he couldn't be elected senator in California, so he decided to run for president.
Well, I'll tell you, every day I go into a state, my support just skyrockets. I went to Colorado, we were at 7. By the end of the week, I won that one. So and I'm not taking the money. Clinton's got $8 million. And I want to just clarify one thing. He said that the statements about the conflict of interest from money going from his administration to his wife's law firm were false. They're absolutely true. The argument is, what kind of adjectives and what standards do you apply to a situation where a governor has business money going from the state that he runs to a law firm where his wife is at? I said it was a conflict of interest and wrong. He wants to say, no, but let's keep the facts as they are. They're undisputed. The only question is the values and the principle involved.
Governor Brown, we're out of time. Thanks for being with us live. Now, for the how and why of Bill Clinton's big night, and one of the big surprises tonight, not in the presidential primaries, here's Bob Schieffer. Bob?
Well, you know, Dan, we are here to watch these presidential primaries, but in the long run, we may look back on tonight and think one of the most interesting things that happened is what happened out in Illinois, where two-term incumbent Democratic Senator Alan Dixon was beaten tonight by a Cook County courthouse official named Carol Braun, who did not even run a television ad until last week. Ms. Braun drew her strength from an odd coalition of voters, black voters all across the state, and white suburban women who did not like the fact that Alan Dixon voted to confirm Clarence Thomas for the Supreme Court. Look at these exit polls, Dan. In the Chicago suburbs, 62% of the white women who told us they were opposed to Thomas's confirmation also told us they voted today for Braun. Only 10% of them voted for Alan Dixon. Then to go along with that, Ms. Braun, who is black, got 82% of the vote, the black vote, all across Illinois. I think that's about as unusual a coalition as you can find, and I think it is just the latest indication, Dan, that this is going to be a year when the message is incumbents beware.
Particularly those who voted for the Thomas confirmation?
I would think so, and I would think this has got to send shivers through the campaign of Arlen Specter, the Pennsylvania Republican who is up for re-election this year and took a leading part in supporting Judge Thomas. I think this has got to give him pause. I think it also, Dan, just underlines this kind of general uneasiness and unhappiness about incumbents. One incumbent congressman out in Chicago who got beat today, Gus Savage, a very controversial congressman, was beaten by a man named Mel Reynolds. Also, there were two incumbents out there. This doesn't have anything to do with that, but there were two incumbents out there thrown into one district, William Lipinski and Marty Russo, the longtime congressman from Chicago. Marty Russo got beat tonight.
Implications for November, when a black woman, virtually unheard of, even in her own state, doesn't run a television commercial until the last week or 10 days, unseats an incumbent Democratic senator. What does this tell us about November?
Well, I just think it's a very wacky year, and this is just another indication of it. And when you have this check-bouncing scandal going on up in the Congress, where you have poll after poll showing general unhappiness with incumbents, I think incumbents had better be on their toes this November. We might see some real surprises.
And its possible effect on the presidential race?
I don't know. I don't know how to judge that at this point, but I know that there are going to be a lot of people at the United States Capitol tomorrow that are going to be talking about, should we rethink things? What kind of strategy do we need? We better batten down the hatches, because if we knew it was going to be tough, it may be even tougher than we thought.
Bob Schieffer, our CBS News estimate is that two-term Democratic Senator Alan Dixon has been beaten in the primary in Illinois. We'll be back with a look at the delegate races. The delegate counts just after this.
This is ordinary bulk fiber. It's full of grit. This is new Sunrise Smooth Metamucil. The grit is gone because it's triple ground for smoothness. This is ordinary fiber. The grit is definitely not gone. This is new Sunrise Smooth Metamucil, the best mixing, smoothest tasting natural fiber you can buy. The grit is gone. New Sunrise Smooth Metamucil. For regularity, nothing works better, and the grit is gone.
Morning breath.
As soon as I have my coffee, it's all gone.
Whether you admit it or not, it's a problem.
Okay, I have morning breath, but it doesn't bother anyone.
Don't be so sure.
Mine's not so bad.
Morning breath's not as bad as you think. It's worse. So get Scope. Its two powerful ingredients kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Was my morning breath really that bad?
There's no denying morning breath, so save your breath with Scope.
Cut through all the talk and what it's about as delegates. Let's show you where the delegate count stands at the moment. 2145 needed for a Democrat to win. Clinton has 987. Tsongas and Brown well back. These are the delegates to date, our CBS News estimate. Republicans, 1105 needed to win. President Bush is so far out front that it doesn't much matter looking at the other two, and clearly will be the nominee unless health or something else unexpected intervenes. With us now is our CBS News outside analyst, longtime analyst, particularly for the Republicans. Kevin Phillips is with us. Kevin, good evening. And Buchanan is down some, Brown is up some. Is there a relationship there?
I think there is. What you may be seeing here is the baton of populist protest is moving from Pat Buchanan to Jerry Brown. In Michigan, where they were both running, the Democrats and independents who had been crossing over, going for Buchanan, stayed with the Democrats, voted for Jerry Brown. So we may see a new force emerging there.
What about the chances for a third party? There's been some talk Buchanan might form one, and Ross Perot down in Dallas has reportedly, allegedly, and supposedly been approached about a third party. Any real chance of that happening?
Well, I think the Buchanan rumors are mostly for 1996. But there's some rumors on Jerry Brown being interested, and Ross Perot, of course, is a multi-billionaire. If he decided to do it, he could fund a massive effort and do it late. So it's a fascinating dimension here.
Kevin Phillips, live in our Washington Bureau. Thanks. Stay here with us now for some closing thoughts on this presidential primary and Senate upset night.
Where do you want to be in 5 years?
I had an old Studebaker truck and $300 when I started this company. In a few years, my sons will be ready to take over, and then I'd like to... I never told anybody this. I want to live in Paris and go to cooking school. Hey, that's what I want to do. Will I have the money to do it?
You can get there from here. With Shearson Lehman Brothers.
It's good. It's real good.
It's home cooking soup.
Not hot enough.
No? Well, better let me check. Gee, I'd say perfect. Charlie, what do you say?
Celery and carrots are mighty good.
Well, Stan, how about you?
Chicken's delicious. Noodles, too.
Golly, Fred, looks like you got nothing to complain about.
Big guys, thanks for nothing.
Don't mention it.
Our pleasure.
The name is home cooking, and so is the taste. From Campbell's.
I'm alive. Howard Weber.
Alive. Jessica Glover.
For a free list of cars with airbags, see your Allstate agent.
In over 1 out of 2 homes in America, people count on Kenmore appliances. Like this huge 21 cubic foot Kenmore refrigerator with adjustable shelves. Just $18 a month now at Sears Brand Central.
We made it.
Hey, I couldn't have gotten through physics without you.
Yeah, well, you're on your own at college.
It's not fair.
That's all right. I'm going to get a job, you know. Start working, I'm saved. And I'll be in college in another year or two.
So, what did you have planned, Mike?
I think I'm going to go home and make a sandwich.
Support the United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
On this special Western edition of our CBS News Election Night special program, Storyline. Out of the Midwest, less muddle, but no less mud, on the frontrunners. Bill Clinton looks more like the inevitable Democratic presidential nominee. He's won Michigan and Illinois, but still the question, is he electable? President Bush puts the state deeper into Pat Buchanan's hopes in the heartland. Bush a big winner tonight. Dixon, incumbent Democratic senator, loses the primary in Illinois. We'll have more about this tomorrow on this CBS station. Good night.
Stay with CBS News for continuing coverage of Campaign 92.
Experience CBS News. Hard times hit home.
I've lost my wife, I've lost my house, I've lost my business.
You might think the recession can't touch your family. That's what they thought.
You never think that you're going to be that close that you don't have a home anymore.
How would you hang on to your American dream? 48 Hours, Wednesday.
Why is the government threatening to cut $107 million in funding from this hospital? This man knows why, but he can't show his face. The story.
Dwight Davis has a problem. His kids have a problem. His sister has a problem, too. This is Gunny Davis. He's the problem. From the creators of The Cosby Show and Roseanne.
Where was I before I was born?
Randy Quaid.
What are you, 45 or 46?
Close, I'm 37.
You look old.
And Jonathan Witters.
Come on down to the basement. Andrew is ready for his brain.
Davis Rules Wednesday at 8 on CBS.
This is CBS.